want you all out of my sight.
What are you yelling at? Don't you know there's sick people here?
And I am the oldest one here.
You know, we all worked together on the same lot back in the day on Prospect when we were over there, and you made a name for yourself in daytime television. You're an Emmy-winning actress on that show. You were a groundbreaker because you were one of the first big African-American stars of daytime, right?
Are you ready to take a fun trip down memory lane? Today, we'll look at the cast of What's Happening and see how they've changed from their young days in the 1970s to now in 2024. Remember the laughs and the stories they shared on the show? It's amazing to think about.
Hey, I'm a great dancer. Check this out, Shirley.
But what happened to the actors after the show ended in 1979? Did they stay in the spotlight or move on to other things? How did their lives and careers change over the years? How old are they now? What do they look like? Are you ready to see the changes? Let's dive in and find out what the cast is up to after all these years.
I want you all out of my sight.
What are you yelling at? Don't you know there's sick people here?
Starting with Danielle Spencer, is known for her role as Dee Thomas on the show. Like in a world where everything can seem dull and ordinary, Dee stands out like a bright neon sign. First off, Dee has a quick wit. Her words are sharper than a chef's knife, and her comebacks are super fast. She uses sarcasm like a pro, cutting through life's tricky moments while still wearing a smile. Dee isn't just all talk, though. She's a powerhouse. This character is determined and will not be easily swayed from her goals. Dee has a will of iron and a spirit that cannot be broken. When she wants to say something, you can bet she'll say it loud and clear. She doesn't hold back and serves up her thoughts hot and fresh, making sure everyone hears her. Dee's style is another part of what makes her shine. She is a trendsetter, always ahead of the curve. Friends come to her for fashion advice because she has a keen eye for style. When you get tips from Dee, you're not just learning about clothes. You're getting a full masterclass in how to look chic and fashionable. When viewers first met Dee, she wasn't the easiest character to love. At first, she was a young girl who would do anything to make a quick buck, even using blackmail. But as the show went on, Dee's character grew and changed. By the second season, she became much more likable.
The room looks so much larger.
It always does when Rerun isn't in it.
However, real life threw a curveball at Danielle Spencer. In 1976, she and her stepfather were in a serious car accident that sadly took her father's life. Dee was in a coma for almost a month. After recovering, Danielle and her mother took a trip to Africa, which changed her perspective on life. When she returned from her travels, Danielle decided to follow a different path. Instead of acting, she pursued her passion for animals. In 1996, she achieved her dream and became a veterinarian.
Dr. Danielle Spencer David is back with us today to address an issue that cat owners need to be aware of. Good morning, doctor. Good to see you again.
Good morning. You too.
Even though she occasionally steps back into the public eye, like when she wrote a book about her experiences as a child actor, she mostly stays out of the spotlight now.
As Dee Thomas will be featured in the permanent collection of the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That had to be just huge.
Danielle Spencer first played Dee Thomas when she was just 11 years old. Now at 58, she has built a life beyond acting. She remains a strong, determined woman who knows what she wants and goes after it.
Hey, girls, gather round. Listen to what I'm putting down.
Next is Haywood Nelson, the talented actor known for playing Dwayne Nelson on the show. Dwayne Nelson is not just a character, he is a wonderful mix of fun and intelligence. Just like the famous thinker Albert Einstein once said, logic will get you from A to B, imagination will take you everywhere. Dwayne represents this perfectly. He is not only the voice of reason among his friends, but he is also the one who brings creativity to every situation. With a clever idea, he can solve problems like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Dwayne's dedication to learning is impressive. He approaches his studies like a superhero fighting for justice. Nothing can stop him from seeking knowledge. Beneath his serious side, he has a playful personality that shines through, like the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. His humor is quick and sharp, and he can turn any serious talk into a laughter-filled moment. But don't let Dwayne's playful nature fool you. He is also the anchor for his group of friends. When disagreements arise, he steps in like a wise old sage. With his calming presence, he brings people together, ensuring that everyone feels heard. He is the bridge over troubled waters, helping his friends find peace and harmony. Haywood Nelson became famous for his role as Dwayne. Before this show, he appeared in If You Give a Dance, and This Property is Condemned. He also made a guest appearance on the classic show Sanford and Son. However, it was What's Happening that made him one of the first black teen idols in Hollywood. After What's Happening ended, Nelson continued to shine in the entertainment world. He starred in another show called The White Shadow and returned to his role as Dwayne in What's Happening Now. Even as he acted, he was studying hard. He pursued architectural design and electronics engineering, showing that he could balance both his passion for acting and his love for learning.
But I got it done, and it taught me a great work ethic.
Oh, without a doubt.
Great work.
So another angle. So we're going to go back to
Dwayne Nelson, played by Haywood Nelson, first appeared on our screens when he was just 16 years old. Today, he is 62, but he still embodies the spirit of Dwayne. Ernest Thomas, who played Raj Thomas on the show. He is known for his sharp comebacks and legendary sense of humor. His lines are like a tailor's needle, quick and to the point. Raj has a mischievous twinkle in his eye that often gets him into funny trouble with his friends. But don't worry, it's all in good fun. One of the best things about Raj is his loyalty. He's the kind of friend who would move mountains to keep his buddies and family safe. You definitely want someone like him by your side when things get tough. But what really makes Raj stand out is his knack for finding a way out of sticky situations. Need a clever plan to make some quick cash or to escape a tricky spot? Raj is your man. After taking a 6-year break from TV and movies, Ernest Thomas returned to play Raj in the sequel, What's Happening Now?
Mayor of Gary, Indiana, I said, look, you owe me. I've come here, help you with your campaign. I need you to have a press conference and say you're here to be the first signature on bringing What's Happening back.
This show aired from 1985 to 1988 after the original was canceled. Even after that, he didn't slow down. Thomas made guest appearances on many popular TV dramas and sitcoms. He starred alongside his TV wife, Anne Marie Johnson, in the Heat of the Night. He also showed up in shows like Martin, Soul Food, The Steve Harvey Show, and All About the Andersons. More recently, he appeared in the show Just Jordan, where he continued to show off his acting skills. Fans might also remember him as Mr. Omar, the funeral director, on the sitcom Everybody Hates Chris. There's even a fun story about him guest starring in an episode of Are We There Yet? As a character who looked a bit like Flavor Flav. In 2012, Thomas took a step into the horror genre by working with the famous director Rob Zombie in The Lords of Salem. 2 years later, he appeared in a short comedy film called Earworm, which had a quirky and funny plot. It's clear that Ernest Thomas has kept himself busy even after all these years in the spotlight. Interestingly, Thomas has an eye condition called AMOP, which makes his journey even more inspiring. He started playing Raj when he was just 27 years old, and now at 74, he continues to leave a mark in the entertainment world. Next is Mabel King, best known for her role as Mabel Thomas, affectionately called Mama on What's Happening, was more than just a mother figure on screen. She brought warmth, strength, and wisdom to her character, making her an unforgettable TV mom. Mama wasn't just about taking care of her son Raj and his friends, she was also their source of advice and guidance. But Mama wasn't all serious. She could have fun and be the life of the party, joining in on the fun with Raj and his friends. Her character had the perfect balance of love, fun, and wisdom. Mabel King, the actress behind Mama, had an incredible career in entertainment. She started acting in comedies and was known for bringing laughter to any role she took on. One of her early movies was Don't Play Us Cheap in 1972, where she starred with Esther Rolla. Another big role was in the Bingo Long Traveling All-Stars and Motor Kings in 1976, alongside stars like Billy D. Williams and James Earl Jones. These roles showed how good she was at making people laugh, but also how she could add depth to her characters. King was also on TV before What's Happening, making guest appearances on other shows. But it was her role as Mama that really made her a star. Fans loved how she brought the character of Mabel Thomas to life, making her both funny and wise. Besides television, Mabel King also made a name for herself in movies. She starred in the 1978 musical The Wiz with Diana Ross, a huge hit that's still loved today. In The Jerk, 1979, she worked with the famous comedian Steve Martin, showing her talent for making people laugh on the big screen too. She kept appearing in other films, like The Gong Show movie in 1980, where she worked with Chuck Barris.
The Gong Show movie starts Friday at a theater near you.
Her career wasn't just about comedy, though. King showed she could play all sorts of roles, and that versatility kept her acting career going strong for many years. One of her final movie roles was in Dead Men Don't Die in 1991, where she starred alongside Elliot Gould. Mabel King passed away on November 9, 1999, in Los Angeles at the age of 66. Even though she is no longer with us, her legacy lives on through the characters she played, especially Mama.
That's a him? Looks more like a them.
And then we have Fred Berry, best known for playing the funny and lovable character Freddie Rerun Stubbs on the show. He was a man who could make anyone laugh. With his big smile, playful energy, and goofy pranks, Freddie Stubbs was always the life of the party. He loved dancing, joking around, and having fun, and his childlike enthusiasm made him a favorite among fans. But beneath that fun-loving personality, Fred Berry was a loyal friend who deeply cared for the people in his life. He was always there when someone needed help or a listening ear. Many people were surprised to learn how sensitive and caring he really was. Fred Berry became famous for playing Rerun, a character known for always having to redo his school classes, which is how he got his nickname. The role of Freddie was originally meant for a thin white actor, but Fred brought so much life and humor to the part that it became all his own. With his signature red beret, suspenders, and his impressive dance moves, Rerun quickly became one of the most beloved characters on the show. His dance skills came from his time with a dance group called The Lockers, which helped him stand out on the show.
Other people freak out. They ask me for autographs, ask me to dance. I still got it.
Now, Fred's time on the show didn't last long. Due to a disagreement about his salary, he wanted to be paid more than the other actors. He was let go before the first season ended. This was a tough moment for Fred, and he faced many personal struggles throughout his life. Berry had issues with drugs and alcohol, something he admitted in a 1996 interview with People magazine. He said, "I was a millionaire by the time I was 29, but the stress of success got to me." He mentioned that people would joke about his weight, and it really hurt him. On top of that, he started using drugs and alcohol heavily, which led to some dark times, including 3 suicide attempts. Thankfully, Fred managed to overcome these difficult periods in his life. He turned his focus to his faith and became a motivational speaker and a Baptist minister. In the 1990s, he dedicated much of his time visiting different churches and sharing his story to help others. Fred Berry also took control of his health after being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. He lost 100 pounds and worked hard to improve his lifestyle. Unfortunately, despite his efforts to live a healthier life, Fred passed away on October 21, 2003, at the age of 52 from natural causes. His death was a sad moment for his fans, but his legacy as Rerun lives on. His joyful spirit and the laughter he brought to people will never be forgotten.
Not too late for the auditions, am I?
Well, see, Laura.
Good. You know, I do some great impressions.
David Hollander, an actor and producer, played the character Earl Barnett Jr. in a TV show many years ago. Earl Barnett Jr. is a curious and energetic young boy, a true explorer. His mind is always asking questions, especially why, and his playful spirit is contagious. Earl's character isn't just about curiosity, though. He has a loving relationship with his older brother. Together, they are like superheroes, unstoppable when they're together. But Earl's story doesn't stop at curiosity and love. He's also full of talent. Earl is a musical genius, able to play music like it's second nature. David Hollander, who played Earl Barnett Jr., has had a long and interesting career in entertainment. He didn't just stop at acting, he took on many different projects. In the early days of his career, David worked on films like Alice Gets in Dutch in 1924, which was one of his first projects. Later, he contributed to The Times of Harvey Milk, a well-known 1984 documentary. He was also part of Rated X, a 1999 Showtime movie.
Story about a man whose twin sister is murdered and who stops his life to come home to sort of face the trial and stay with his mother and his twin sister's daughter during the course of the trial.
His most recent work includes being a producer for the TV show Ray Donovan in 2012. Earl Barnett Jr., the character David played, was just 10 years old in the show. Now, David Hollander is 55 years old, still contributing to the world of entertainment in various ways.
Change? She gave me $3, the bill was $2.95, and you want change?
Next up is Shirley Hemphill, is best known for playing Shirley Wilson on the show. Her character, Shirley, was a strong, independent woman who worked hard to take care of her child and give him the best life possible. As a landlord, she looked out for her tenants, making sure they were happy and safe. And let's not forget her famous cooking. Her Sunday dinners were legendary, and everyone always looked forward to them. After What's Happening was canceled, Shirley Hemphill auditioned for a role as a cook on Archie Bunker's Place. Unfortunately, she didn't get the part, but the very next day she was offered her own show, One in a Million. In this new sitcom, she played Shirley Simmons, a taxi driver who inherited a large corporation and a fortune from one of her passengers. The show started in January 1980, but it didn't get enough viewers and was canceled after just a few months in June of that year. In the early 1980s, Shirley focused on performing stand-up comedy in nightclubs across the U.S.
Mean thing. A male cat would get mad at you, go in your bedroom, and use the bathroom under your pillow. Now this is when it turns real mean. He would take that time and make that bed back up.
She also appeared as a guest on popular TV shows like The Love Boat and Trapper John, MD. In 1985, she returned to her role as Shirley Wilson in What's Happening Now, a revival of the original show. This new version aired from 1985 to 1988. After the show ended, Shirley continued to perform in comedy clubs and made guest appearances on 1990s sitcoms like Martin and the Wayans Brothers. Throughout her career, Shirley was known for her stand-up comedy. She performed on well-known shows like The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson, An Evening at the Improv, and BET's Black Comedy Showcase. She became a regular performer at the Laugh Factory Comedy Club in Los Angeles, where she kept audiences laughing with her sharp sense of humor. Sadly, Shirley Hemphill passed away on December 10, 1999, at the age of 52. She was found in her home in West Covina, California. Shirley left behind a legacy of laughter and warmth, and she will always be remembered for her role as the tough but loving Shirley Wilson.
Dee, I'm sorry I yelled at you yesterday.
Bill Thomas Thalmus Rasulala is Mabel's ex-husband and the father of Roger and Dee in the show. Thalmus was known for his deep voice. He started his career in the 1960s as a musical comedy performer in New York. Back then, he went by the name Jack Crowder. Rasulala appeared in several off-Broadway shows, including Fly Blackbird and The Fantastics. He gained recognition on Broadway, winning a Theatre World Award for his role as Cornelius Hackle in the Pearl Bailey production of Hello, Dolly. In movies, Rasulala made his debut in The Out-of-Towners in 1970. During the 1970s and 1980s, he became famous for his roles in blaxploitation films like Blasula, Bucktown, Cool Breeze, and Willie Dynamite. One of his later movie roles was in New Jack City. Rasulala also appeared on television. He had a part in the series What's Happening and gave memorable performances in the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman and as Omoro, Kunta Kinte's father, in the famous miniseries Roots. Sadly, Thalmus Rasulala passed away on October 9, 1991, at the age of 55 from a heart attack in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Those people jump in their car and they drive, and then next thing you know, they're at their location in movies and stuff. It takes hours to get places in New York.
Earl Billings, another actor, is known for playing Rob, the loving father in the show. Rob was the kind of dad everyone admired, and Earl Billings made the character relatable and full of heart. However, Earl Billings didn't just stop with Rob. His acting career has spanned many years, and he's appeared in both TV shows and movies. He's known for being versatile, taking on many different roles with ease. Earl Billings has been a part of many memorable films and TV shows.
It's a fabulous play. It's a Pulitzer Prize-winning play called Between Riverside.
He's been in commercials too, like the famous Aflac ads. Some of his notable roles include appearances in movies like Antwone Fisher in 2002, American Splendor in 2003, and Something New in 2006. He also had a starring role in the ABC series Misguided, where he acted alongside Judy Greer and Brooke Burns. When Earl Billings played Rob, he was 32 years old. Now he's 78 years old, and his work in entertainment continues to leave a lasting impact. Whether he's playing a father figure or appearing in commercials, Earl Billings has built a career that people admire.
As a matter of fact, I was very hard on you the other day and very unfair.
Miss Collins is the boys' high school teacher in the show. Fritzi Burr had a long career in entertainment. She started as a comedian, performing in comedy shows and making people laugh. For 20 years, she worked hard at stand-up comedy and sketch shows, building her skills and making others smile. In 1967, Fritzi made her Broadway debut in the famous musical Funny Girl. She took on the role of Mrs. Bryce, a part that had been played by another actress before her. This was a big step in her career, and from there, Fritzi moved to the West Coast to try her hand at acting in films and television. Her TV career began in 1970 when she appeared on the popular show That Girl, starring Marlo Thomas. Fritzi also had a role in the movie How Do I Love Thee, with comedian Jackie Gleason. Over the years, Fritzi appeared in more than 50 roles on 45 different television shows, although her work in movies was not as extensive. One of her more notable movie appearances was in the classic crime drama Chinatown. Fritzi Burr played Miss Collins when she was 53 years old. Sadly, Fritzi passed away on January 17, 2003, in Fort Myers, Florida. She died of natural causes at the age of 78. Debbie Morgan played Diane Harris, a classmate of Roger, Dwayne, and Rerun on the TV show What's Happening. She was part of the fun group, but her role was smaller compared to the main characters. Even though she wasn't in every episode, fans of the show remember her for her lively personality and good acting. This role was one of her early jobs on TV. Later in her career, Debbie Morgan became very successful. She is best known for playing Angie Hubbard on the soap opera All My Children.
Well, you know me. When I feel strongly about something, I shout it from the rooftops.
This role made her very famous, and she won awards for her acting. Debbie also appeared in other popular TV shows and movies, including Power, Eve's Bayou, and The Young and the Restless. Debbie Morgan has had a long and respected career. She's known for playing strong women and is admired for her talent in both TV and movies. Despite the ups and downs, Debbie's acting skills have kept her in the spotlight for many years.